This is the burial place of Edith Nourse Rogers. She was born in Saco, Maine in 1881 by the name Edith Nourse. Her father was in the textile business, and so he moved the family to Lowell, Massachusetts, where Edith met and married John Jacob Rogers in 1907 in a ceremony that took place at St. Anne's Church in downtown Lowell. In 1912, John was elected to Congress to represent the 5th Congressional District. He was a rising star in the Republican Party and led much notable legislation. However, in 1925, while still serving in office, he died suddenly. Now, back then, there was a tradition that when a member of Congress died, his spouse would be appointed to fill out his term. These were so-called social appointments. The idea was that the wife, the widow, would have some time to wrap up the affairs of social obligations in Washington, pack out the home, and move back home. Well, Edith Nourse Rogers moved back home, but she didn't live a quiet life afterward. Instead, she ran for Congress in her own right and was elected. And she was re-elected every 2 years until she died in office in September of 1960. Until recently, Edith Nourse Rogers held the record for the longest serving female member of the United States Congress. Now, although she was a Republican, Edith Nourse Rogers was a big supporter of Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal. And when World War II began, she was a sponsor or a supporter of much legislation that helped those who served in the military, especially women who served in the military. In fact, Edith Nourse Rogers filed the legislation that created the Women's Army Corps, or the WACs. Then after the war, she was a major proponent of the GI Bill of Rights, which provided education and housing assistance to millions of returning service members. She also was a major mover of the Veterans Administration. In fact, the Veterans Administration Hospital in Bedford, Massachusetts is named for her, as is a middle school in Lowell called the Edith Nourse Rogers School. So this is the burial place of Edith Nourse Rogers and her spouse, John Jacob Rogers, both of whom represented Lowell in this region in the United States Congress.